there a question someone asked you that you can recall that changed you in a profound way?
I was once telling somebody about, like, this trajectory I'd had of growing up in this small town in Oklahoma, going to Divided Berlin, doing my work, starting my work, and they said, how did you get to be so brave? And I realized that I had never given myself credit for being brave. And that, I wrote a little poem about it, and that question, like that actually showed me some things I needed to interrogate, and also how I needed to be so much kinder and generous to myself in ways that I am to other people. And I think that question has really been rippling forward in my life for a few years. And like, that's such a great question you just asked me.
You were talking about callings, which is so interesting. I believe now that there isn't one calling.
No,
it's
that's
like
right.
different phases of
Yeah.
what is meant to come out of us based off what is happening around us, and it keeps kind of spiraling.
There are multitudinous callings for all of us at any given time. We're not just called to be professional people. We're called to be family and friends and colleagues and lovers of the world and healers. Also can't think of another calling for any of us in this time that actually is more consequential than being a calmer of fear in your world, in people you can see and touch, right? So I think we get to forgive ourselves for being overwhelmed by this and get really real, right? And like really break that question apart and, try to, I don't know, put it in the perception box or take it out of the perception box, right? Like look at what we're freighting it with. And just think about how I can be the person I want to be, the presence I want to be in the world that I can see and touch. That's where calling starts. We don't have a society in which it is respectable or honored or actually even safe to say, I'm afraid and I'm in pain. And what we do is we armor up. We protect ourselves. And what fear looks like when it shows itself in public is mostly anger, because fear feels soft and anger feels strong. And pain is vulnerable, and, rage or even paralysis, like those are responses that keep you kind of behind the line of opening yourself for more pain. We need to find others to have these conversations with, to name things at the root. And we need others to be with us and carry hope and grief and be more open about their pain on the days and weeks and months when it's too much for us to ask of ourselves, right? We're not alone with this. That's, I think, a big step. This is not the world we want to be living in. This is not the world we want our children to be living in. Let's make something better. And that sounds simple, but what I've learned, I've interviewed people who have shifted the world on its axis, and also in places of incredible injustice and violence. And it always starts with human beings who are faced with a world that is the way it is, who say, I reject the idea that it has to be this way. And that's the power of our imaginations, to insist that something else can be true and it's ours to make it real. I think we are living with a distressed nervous system at a species level. We wanted to normalize after the pandemic, but we really have not even begun to metabolize what those 3 years put us through. One of the deepest, strangest, most mysterious, and most redemptive truths of human experience, human existence, is that where much is breaking, much is being born. So What I want to share with you are 3 ways of seeing arts of living to navigate the fullness of the complexity of reality. The first one is a gift to me from physics, to us from physics, and it is the notion of deep truth. Deep truth emerged in physics through this very important deliberation, this question that had to be answered of whether light is a particle or a wave. And what emerged from that conversation is what they call the theory of complementarity, which is it turned out that it's actually both. That light is a wave if you ask it a wave-like question, and it's a particle if you ask it a particle-like question. And so deep truth points at something different from surface truths that can be proven or debated by facts or arguments. And a very intriguing definition of deep truth is that its opposite is also likely true, which is a really fun thought experiment to walk around with. The Nobel physicist who shared this with me, he said, in the quantum universe, contradiction and truth are near neighbors. A deep truth must be approached from multiple perspectives to mine it fully. No one perspective exhausts reality, and different perspectives may be valuable even if they are utterly incompatible. The story of our time is fractious if you ask it questions of politics. It is immensely reconciliatory if you look at what we are learning about our bodies and brains and the body of the earth and the cosmos and all of life. We are not good at telling this story of our time that is connecting us up. The ways of telling that we have are broken. The internet is not helping. And of course, there is incredible tumult and danger and rupture in this world we inhabit, but that is not the whole story of us. The second way of seeing art of living that I want to call out is the matter of vocation, of calling. This is so on all of our hearts, what is my work to do? How can I possibly be of service? There's long stretches of my life when my calling as a parent were more important than my callings as a professional person, although I probably struggled to make that real. And so the art of living that I want to offer you is about questions and not answers. And it's about cultivating the quality of our questions. Rainer Maria Rilke said at the beginning of the 20th century, also a world of incredible tumult, which was just about to change beyond recognition. Love the questions themselves. And he was speaking to a young man who wanted answers and wanted certainty. And he said, love the questions. And so I just invite you to go away and actually, sit with the questions you're holding for our world. The question of what your work to do is. I have learned that if you're faithful to a question will be faithful back to you.